All right, welcome to the very first episode of Meet Me in Music. I'm your host, Neil Salsich. This is a podcast all about music in St. Louis, past and present. We are so excited today to have our very first guest, and I would call no one else but this man right here, Brian Owens. Thank you.
Meet me in music.
Yes.
I like that,
Yes.
Neil.
Good. That was a genuine reaction.
That's good.
This is the first episode, Brian. I was laughing because I was a little bit nervous about this, but
Why?
that's the truth. Then I thought about you, and then I thought about watching you on stage and all the times that I have been on stage with you, and I have learned so much by watching you, and you don't ever seem nervous. Ever.
That's interesting.
Ever.
That's interesting.
That is, I mean, tell me about that.
Okay. I think I have a different theory on the nerves thing
Mm-hmm.
that I had to kind of adopt for myself. So the way that I figured it was most of the things that were making me nervous about being on stage had to
Mhm.
do with things that I could not control. I can't control how an audience is going to respond to me. Some nights, depending upon if you're on the road,
Mhm.
your voice just may not do what you want it to do. So I would always pray before I went out on stage. And what I would pray for is favor with the audience. So not to sound good, not to just favor with the audience. Let me have a connection with the audience in spite of
Yeah.
what may not be flawless. And in a lot of ways, that started to take away my nerves because it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
So the moment I was able to reposition who the experience was about, it kind of took away some of those nerves. So when I feel myself feeling that, I know why I'm feeling it.
So it's interesting that you said you can't control what the audience thinks about you, but in a way, I feel like more than anyone that I've been on stage with, you can. I learned that a little bit from you, and you just talked about it because what I've learned from you, among many things, is also the art of entertaining and like working a crowd. So that's interesting to me because something that I'm working on with myself is how can I, uh, yeah, work like the crowd is like an instrument
Yeah, yeah,
almost.
yeah,
How can
yeah,
you
yeah.
play them, or work with them, or like invite them in and all that stuff.
It's what you just said. You just said it. You just phrased it differently. The first time you said
Yeah,
working a crowd,
yeah,
then you just said to work with.
yeah.
I feel like when I go out there now more than ever, it's it's less about trying to work the crowd to get a response, and it's working with the crowd
Yeah.
to acknowledge what's happening. Right. So it's kind of so. I mean, if people can say it's just that's like just a philosophical way to think
Mhm,
about it. But I'm like, it really helps me when I'm on a stage to understand that we're both in a shared experience that has never happened before and will never happen again.
mhm.
I know the songs, but I don't know how you're gonna respond. You know the songs, but you don't know how you're gonna respond. Like I don't like I could do the same show 3 times for the same group of people, and depending on what happened to them that day, a
Yeah.
song might hit different.
Mhm.
So being sensitive to those things when I'm in a moment, like that's what I'll be reading in a moment, and that's why you'll be in the show,
Mm.
and the set list will say one thing, and you're
Yes.
like, nah, we need to go this other direction because this is where I sense people feeling. The other thing
Mhm.
too is like I don't determine how a show is going to end by how it begins. So the idea of walking out to an audience that you don't know,
Mhm.
unless you were just like super duper 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 famous and like everybody know you, they know all your stuff. Genuinely, or generally, you're walking in situations where some people may know you, but a lot of people don't. So developing a relationship over the course of 90 minutes, if you look at it that way, it's like I don't care how it begins.
Mhm.
It may be shaky in the audience, they may not clap, they may not do this. I don't hold that against them in the course of a show and begin to hold back because the audience ain't giving you nothing. No, it's like, okay, this is a warm up.
Mhm.
We're in a relationship, building up. Okay, first couple songs, you get to kind of know who I am. Next couple songs, get to know who you are. But by the time we get to the end of the night,
Yeah.
it's like, are we both committed to this experience? And that's my favorite part is getting to that last part where it's like, oh, now we know
Mhm.
what's happened tonight because the
Yeah.
response, like when people are like, the greatest thing I love to hear after a show is when people say, you can sing. You bad, you can
Yeah.
sing. But, but I came here tonight feeling this
Mm.
way,
Yeah.
and you helped me. Like this experience helped me see God more. This
Mhm.
experience helped me to let this go, or like it really touched me in this way, which is much less about my talent. Like the talent is just a vehicle for something that's more important.
You're talking about your vocal talent
Yeah,
or
vocal
your
talent.
performative talent.
Vocal talent. I mean, the performative
Yeah.
talent, I definitely earned the heart. I earned it. Like
Yes.
I've like been in the military band, playing a bunch of shows, working in theme parks. Like that part of of the performative experience, I earned. You know, my voice and training. That part, I worked at that. I
Mhm.
earned that. How an audience responds, man, I ain't earned that. Like
Yeah.
that's something that's way more transcendent, and the ability to kind of empty myself out
Yeah.
in a moment and not care about how I sound. That's when I feel like I make the best art, cuz I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm not trying to sing this to get you to feel a
Mhm.
certain way. I'm literally emptying out so you can hear the song,
Mhm.
and the song will dictate that.
So you're present. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a huge thing. So how do you and you're very present on stage. There's so much of what you just said that I got all these ideas and all these threads I want to pull. So, yeah, how do you stay present and how do you stay I mean, do you ever still feel nervous in that moment, in that 1 second and then there's like a crossroads, you know? Are you making choices on stage? Or at this point is it all just so baked in that you don't even have to think about it,
The
you
only
know?
time I ever really feel nerves is when I feel like I'm not prepared.
Mhm.
If I'm prepared, ain't nothing to be nervous. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, it's like if I'm prepared, ain't
Yeah.
nothing to be nervous about
Yeah.
because I've done all I can do. It's only when I have not done all that I can do.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I should have spent more time on them lyrics. Or
Hey.
or I should have, we may have to cut that song, or even with the band. Like, is the band well rehearsed?
Yeah.
Those are all things that are within control before you get there.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to make sure now in my in my seasoned age that like the things that I know I have control over and that I'm responsible for, it's my job to make sure that those things are taken care of. Or I'm comfortable enough in the experience of what the experience is that it's like, oh, the band don't need to rehearse, and we like we just gonna get up. Y'all
Yeah.
know the songs, I know the song, and that experience calls for that,
Yeah.
or it's okay for it to be that.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay, so
saying?
that's interesting because that's different than being unprepared. Because 'Cause I've been on stages with you where it's just what you described. It's that the musicians are killing. You know, I'm
Right,
thinking of
right, right, right.
all the shows that I've been a part of with you. That's been a huge privilege, and I met some amazing musicians. So the musicians are killing, and we all kind of know the songs. And then but it's funny to me. I'm more of a I celebrate the differences between us, and they're very present to me on stage because I'm just
You're more of like,
yeah
yeah,
I'm more
yeah.
type A whatever, and I see you as being so much more just more willing to dance with the moment and, like, you like that. You like the
I do.
yeah, I that's a cool thing. That's, like that really shows up in your personality, and so there are moments where you're like, "We're not doing this song," or "We're doing something differently," but you know what? That's been good for me to be I've just been along for the ride, and I have to, like, sink or swim, and that's taught me a lot. Those shows I've done with
I'm learning though how to be aware of that though.
you. Mhm.
And not every situation.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something with the symphony or something, it's like I can't just completely go off script because they have a chart.
Yeah.
Now,
That
if
is
I
funny.
and learning how if I'm going to do that, I have to bake it into the pie. Hey, once we get to this part,
Yeah.
just lay out.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot, like doing stuff with like the 442. Shout out to them. It's like they got a chart, and I'd be like, well, yeah, when we get to here, just play the same thing over and over again. Right,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but, like, still being able to communicate that because
Yeah.
as opposed to
Instead of going
getting in the
like
moment.
this.
Yes, but yeah,
Yeah.
getting in the moment and you ain't even talked about it. It's like, "Oh, I'm feeling it now." It's like, well, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think you can have both, but that's why too, I need people around me who are like that, who are a little type A,
Yeah.
who are,
And
hey man,
I
the
need
chart.
people like you around me.
Yeah.
It's good. It's been good. And we've done a lot of stuff. You know what so I want to share with our listeners and our viewers today all these amazing stories that we've had, right? But the funny thing is the one thing that meant the most to me, that satisfied me the most musically was when we did the Kings of Soul show at the Chess Hall of Fame.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you've done a lot of these shows, so
Yeah.
right? And I've even performed there through your connections many times, but this, I don't know what it was, but man, I go back and watch these clips of us singing, and we are like shadows on each other. It's amazing. You know, it's beautiful.
Well, that's why I asked you to do it.
Well, thank you. I mean, at the time, I just thought
Neil, the first time
Oh,
I
it
heard
was
you
amazing.
sing, the first time I heard you sing during the pandemic, when we were I was doing this
Soul or
homegrown song,
yeah.
Homegrown Soul, out at Earth Dance
Oh,
Farm.
yeah.
Shout out Molly,
Yes.
who actually connected us up.
That's how we met.
That's how we met.
Okay, Molly Rockman, thank you.
And the first time I heard you sing, I was like, that dude's soulful. That dude is, I didn't even say like that white boy soulful. I was like, that dude is soulful. So as we, over the years started to do more stuff, when I got to, booking World Chess Hall of Fame, because first I booked the Pines, and then I was like, man, I want to book a show where me and you can take some of our favorite soul songs and sing them. And that's why I asked you to do it.
By the way,
I'm down.
Okay,
I'm down.
I'm
down.
The funny thing is, we have recorded with Michael McDonald.
That was fire.
We have sang.
Oh wait, man, you can't.
No. I'm trying to say that we've done X, Y, Z.
You got to stop there though.
And the thing that means the most to me is that Kings of Soul concert. That was the point of that.
I got you.
Yes, we have recorded with Michael McDonald.
We got to talk about that.
We want to talk about it. We have recorded in the finest studios in Nashville, Tennessee, with a project that hopefully will be released, by the way. It's in your vault. And Gerard and I, shout out Gerard, my bandmate.
So Christopherson.
Every night we pray for this music to come out, okay? And we're still praying. That's faith.
We're gonna do it. It's gonna come out. Man.
So we have sang with the high rhythm section.
That was fun.
That's the craziest thing, because I was with my mom a couple days ago, and we were in a restaurant and had a great soundtrack on, all these great songs from the 60s and 70s, and Love and Happiness was on. And I forget.
That you were on the stage with the same guys that played.
I was singing this song with the bass player and the keyboard player. Things like that. And that was all through you. So this is my moment to once again thank you for being here for real as the first guest, but also I genuinely want to say just thank you for all those experiences that you have opened. There's a lot of doors you have opened for me.
Well, it
means a lot.
It's my privilege, man. I feel like I was saying to somebody the other day, it's like I feel like God's been using me in this stage of my life as a bridge. It's just like, for other people's experiences. Right? Like it's not about, I'll get to do the stuff that I do.
Yeah.
But how do I use what I've learned, what I know, the access that I have to be a bridge for younger creatives in my life that I meet to be able to get to where they want to go and do the things that they want to do and maybe see things slightly differently in terms of the freedom that they can have from maybe what the industry tells them they have to do. Or what the city tells them they have to be. It's like being a bridge to actually no, you have way more freedom than you think. You're in a better place than you think. You have more resources and access to things than you think. It's just a matter of, are you willing to? Think about it. You're doing a podcast, bro.
I was on your podcast once.
You see what I'm saying? That never came out.
Yeah, I know. I was laughing about that.
Right.
You have a very extensive vault. That's just what I want the listeners to know. Like, I hope one day one of you, why don't you be a bridge to your own archives? Because you have so much cool stuff.
We've been talking about that. I've been talking about like the Solar Ferguson record, Solar Cash record, Love Came Down. I still haven't really put out the Duets with Dad album that I did with my dad that has like Michael that you guys are on.
That's crazy. We are going to talk about that story.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, let's go back. that was also one of the most memorable days of my life for all of us for different reasons. That was okay. So we're about to have a huge ice storm here in St. Louis coming up.
Uh-huh.
That was 2 years ago, and that was the ice storm of the generation. And I almost missed. My car went off the ditch, or off the road into a ditch, and I had to get a ride. And I don't even know if I told you that I barely
Like, made
made
the
that,
session?
barely, because I got there
Bro.
late, and I walked down the stairs to the studio, and everyone's already kind of in the huddle with Mike, and I just was like, had to just be cool. Like, what's up? Sorry, I wasn't even that late, but somehow everyone was early or whatever. I don't
Well, we'd
know.
already started because we
Oh
done because
my.
we'd already done one song.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my God. What an amazing time. So yes, let's just rehash that. Let's like remember that incredible
Okay,
experience.
so Michael McDonald is from Ferguson, for people who don't know. And so through his best friend, Dan Duncan, who's become a good friend of mine, I got to meet him right around 2015. And since then, like, we've gotten to have a good relationship, do music together.
Because he was in your famous video. Was he
No,
not
no.
in the Change is Gonna Come video?
Well, we did. So he and I did a version of Change is Gonna Come with David Sanborn,
Okay.
late David Sanborn,
Yes.
for his thing called Sanborn Sessions.
Okay.
That Mike
Okay.
actually recommended me to David, and that's how I ended up
I
meeting David
see.
and
Okay.
becoming friends with him. So,
And
like,
David Sanborn, just for those, see, a lot of people don't know these things too.
it's from Kirkwood.
Yes. No, that's part of why I'm doing this podcast is because
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about, and there's a lot of names you've dropped when I've been sitting with you at the World Chess Hall of Fame, and you say, so such and such is from St. Louis, such and such is the band leader for this huge tour right now.
Oh,
No,
yeah, yeah.
all these. So you are a great resource for all of this Rolodex of St. Louis musicians. And so many people just don't know about that. That is one of the reasons that I'm doing this podcast. So, little tangent there. David Sanborn is maybe one of the most famous pop saxophone players
without a
ever,
doubt, without a
most
doubt.
recorded
Without a doubt.
horn players ever, and he's from Kirkwood.
He's from Kirkwood.
And he just passed away last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So when we did the session, the point of my dad and I were doing a project called Duets with Dad. We have this viral video of us doing The Change is Gonna
Thomas
Come.
Owens.
Thomas Owens,
Yes.
he's in my top 5 of singers. And he we started to do this project as a follow-up to that viral video. So as we were going through the songs, we recorded a lot of it in Memphis with Boo Mitchell at Royal Studios
Yep.
with the high rhythm section, Isaiah Sharkey.
Oh my OMG.
Yeah, yeah. And
I didn't know
then
that.
and then had David Sanborn playing sax on a version of Bridge Over Troubled Water that we did.
Are these recordings?
Yeah, they're
available?
yeah,
No,
they're out.
I know. I'm not asking.
The albums.
I want to go listen to
Yeah,
it.
the album's out. It's
Okay.
album's out. But in particular, the session that we did, Mike and his son Dylan and I and my dad, like, I've always wanted to do something where I could get, because it was a Duets with
Yeah,
Dad project, right? So I was like, man, could we do something where, like, the 4 of us do something together? And so Mike was like, yo, I'm totally down with that. So he and Dylan, this is how cool Mike is. This is why I love this dude. He and Dylan drove up from Nashville. They drove up from Nashville.
Just together. Just father
Together.
and son.
He was like, it's time to hang out. And we did 2 songs that day. We did Forever Young, which was, me and Dylan and Mike and my dad, which I love
Bob
that.
Dylan's
Bob Dylan's Forever Young.
Oh my.
And it was amazing. The musicians in the studio that day,
Yeah.
killing. And then we did Bob Dylan's song, I Shall Be Released. But I was like, how cool would it be for my dad and Mike to do a duet together? And I was like, I should get the Pines to play and sing on it. And that's how that came. And that's how that kind of all came about. So,
It
like,
was amazing.
like being
I still can't believe it happened.
I mean,
cannot
being in
believe
the
it
studio,
happened.
but it's just like to me, it's just indicative of, like, how amazing St. Louis musicians and culture and legacy are. Because one of the coolest moments for me that day, besides us all singing the background
Yeah.
parts and, like, seeing Mike and my dad,
That's crazy.
like, that was crazy. When we were doing organ, Chris Woody, goes by Butch, Rob Woody is my drummer. This is his brother. He's ridiculous. He was playing the organ part, recording his organ part, and we just all sitting around at
I
Blue
remember
Lotus.
it.
Shout
Yep.
out Paul Niehaus. We all sitting around and we just watching and him playing. And Mike was in the middle of the room. I got a video of this. I had to
Oh, I
take
do
video.
too. We all have
Like,
our
what's
phones
video?
out
And
discreetly.
Mike's just in the middle of the room watching Butch play organ. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's what I love about what it means to be from here. Is that really, when it's at its best, it's legacy passed on, it's legacy lived out, it's people who are really about the music and not about fame.
Mm.
It's about an excellence that literally invades other people's music culture and makes it better. Like that's what we kind of are built to do.
Mhm.
The upside of that can be really high. The downside of that is you can make something be really good and nobody really knows that you behind it. Like nobody knows that, is Keon Harrell behind that.
Yeah.
Nobody may not know. Is Shedrick Mitchell behind that? No, may not know that, Gregory Porter's rhythm section. Well, Emmanuel and Jamal, drums and bass, respectfully. They from here, live here.
This is all things that I heard. And so you're telling
Yeah.
our listeners right now, these are things I heard you say just in conversation 2 years ago or at the Kings of Soul. I started to go, wait, who are these guys?
Right.
Who are these guys? So I've gone down the rabbit hole and I'm learning. And everything you just said is basically the spirit of this podcast. So you just laid it out. It's the fact that what we do here has influenced and continues to influence the world.
Yes.
Truly. The
Yes.
sounds and and that's something I want to talk about. So what is that sound? Like sometimes I feel like I know it because I'm living it, by the way. We're all part of it.
Right.
Right. So
right.
even my life and my artistic life, I somehow feel or know that I'm somehow participating in this or contributing to it, but I can't always put into words like what is the St. Louis sound, and so I think that's an interesting conversation.
I mean, I have an opinion.
Yeah, no, I want to just see where we get with this.
So this is just this is just
Yeah.
Brian Owens, right? So there's two things that I'll say, and then we can talk about it. One, I liking it. I started using Gumbo as an analogy, and I've shared this with you, right? This idea that like you ask people what's the most important part of gumbo,
I know the
right?
yeah.
Anybody that's makes gumbo will tell you that it's not the shrimp, it's not the sausage, it's not the rice, it's the roux. It's the roux, the gravy that you make that thickens and flavors and does all that stuff. That's the most important part.
And it's kind of gone. It's not gone, but it's not visible
Because it's
when
in everything.
Yeah, when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
you can't really
Yeah. So nobody eats gumbo and goes, man, that roux is amazing.
Yeah.
They say the gumbo is good.
Mhm.
That's the way I see how we as St. Louisans, by and large, we get into the people's gumbo and we make it taste good. And then people go, man, Maxwell is killing. Shedrick is on keys. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, this person's killing. Mark Kohlenberg playing drums with Q-Tip and playing drums with Common. It's like Montez Coleman, the late Montez Coleman playing with Roy Hargrove.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the expats though.
Yes.
Too. Okay.
Yes.
It's the diaspora.
Yes.
The St. Louis
It's
musical.
anything.
Yeah.
And here's why. The St. Louis sound to me is made up of these key ingredients: traditional gospel, blues, and jazz, with an understanding and an influence from European classical tradition. And the reason why that makes sense is because we have the second oldest symphony on the planet.
Okay.
We have a very robust and have had a very robust music education system, whether formally or informally. We've had a strong church tradition, especially like African-American church tradition musically. and the blues and the jazz things, come on, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Miles Davis from here, Albert King is from here. And then all of those things, spread out to influence and be influencers of just about every major American music form you can think of. What is rock and roll without Chuck Berry? What is rhythm and blues without Ike and Tina?
Mhm.
What is quote unquote yacht rock
Yeah. Without
without Michael
Mike. Yep,
McDonald?
that's right.
What is David Bowie's Young Americans
Without David
without
Sanborn.
David
That's
Sanborn on
crazy,
saxophone?
dude.
And here's the one person that I feel like brings it all together. Donny Hathaway.
Yeah, I knew we were
If
gonna
you
talk
really
about
want to
him.
know what St. Louis sounds like, if you want to hear the rhythm of the river,
Mhm.
go listen to Donny Hathaway. How he plays, how he sings, how he writes and orchestrates.
Mhm.
He was a house producer for Curtis Mayfield. He had amazing duets with Roberta Flack. That's the St. Louis sound.
Okay.
And so,
Not just his voice, but
oh yeah, his ability to write.
yeah, okay.
He
Yeah, the whole
orchestrated that stuff.
package.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, and then you flash forward to a generation of Nelly, Shmino, Metro Boomin. And then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When you
no.
see it cross it, I mean, SZA. Like you see all of these musical and artistic individuals, and that's just talking about, musicians and Robert McFerrin Sr.,
Yeah,
Bobby
that's
McFerrin's
right,
dad
that's right,
from St. Louis, the
that's
first
right.
African American singer at the Metropolitan Opera. Like, we have a lot of people in our lineage that were more than just contributors.
Yeah, they were
They were
shapers,
architects.
architects. Yeah, exactly.
Architects and archetypes,
Wow. Okay.
right?
That's pumping me up so much. Okay, so here's my next question, or let's just jump from there to this. So Donny Hathaway, SZA, a lot of those people you named. Okay, so Donnie left when he was 18.
Mhm.
Roughly went to DC.
Mhm.
So, but his musical soul was arguably constructed
Oh, for
already,
sure.
right? So here's what do you think about this is something I think about all the time. The idea of terroir with music, which would be what the winemakers say with the grapes that are grown in certain places
Mhm.
that reflect the land. And
Mhm.
this is something I believe, and I want at least I like to believe, and I feel it's like. So, what is it about this place, the air, the temperature, the hot summers, the all the seasons, the way it looks and feels and smells, this city of St. Louis or the metro, whatever we're calling it, how does that how does that shape these people's voices? And what when I'm walking these same streets in 2026,
Right.
my heroes like Donny Hathaway and Chuck Berry and so many more and Michael McDonald, I just I want to believe that there's something that we have in common, which is this place. And so like even if they're long gone, when I'm looking at the same buildings and the river
Right.
and and I'm smelling the same trees in the summertime and I'm feeling that humidity, like how does do you see what I'm saying? How does all that affect what we're doing? And is that something that can be in common with me and those people?
Yes. And I think it's because we all live within the tension of this
Mm,
beautiful contradiction that's still trying to
yes,
find
yes,
resolution.
yes.
And that is what makes us sing and play the way that we do, right? Like we are in the middle of what
Mhm,
of the nation's great confluence, right?
mhm.
Like we were always the state that was still trying to figure it out, even with slavery, Dred Scott,
Yeah.
right? When you look at things that have happened in Missouri and Illinois, it's like it's like the beautiful contradiction seeking resolution. And in order for you to have a beautiful contradiction, what it means is that, like, in terms of people, you have those who are still maybe struggling with old ways that are not productive for humanity,
Mhm.
and people who are trying to move into accepting and adopting and seeing more holistic and better ways. Well, we live in that constant tension,
Yeah.
and we've always lived in that constant tension. And I see that as beautiful because I'm from Ferguson. In terms of, I'm from Illinois,
Yeah.
but I've lived in Ferguson for 20 years. Of all the places for, you know, what they called social unrest to happen, when you look at where we are now, I'm going, of all the places for it to happen, man, and to come to some type of resolution, I don't know if that would have happened if it was somewhere. And I think that comes out in our music. It comes out in how we do what we do. The other practical aspect of it is too is we never developed an industry.
Yeah.
So the core of what we do here for everybody, whether it was Michael McDonald or David Sanborn or Brian Owens as a musician and a singer, was you're singing in top 40 bands and you're singing in church. That
Yeah.
that's the
That
pedigree and that's the appetite of your local and regional
and you're
audience.
saying we wish you wish it was is that limiting? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's only limited if you allow it to limit you.
Okay.
For me, it was empowering because that's how I'm the root. That's how
Yeah,
all
well,
of these
those
people.
are
That's how all
yeah,
these people in the root. Think
yeah.
about it.
No,
Think about it.
totally.
Mike leaves here, goes to L.A. Before he's with the Doobies, before he's doing other stuff, he ended up doing session stuff. He ends up playing with Steely Dan, singing background and playing with Steely Dan. Yeah,
Yeah.
it will come back to you. Right? David Sanborn, he's playing with the Paul Butterfield
Mm.
band.
Ooh, I didn't
He
even know
played
that.
at Woodstock. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know.
And
When
the reason why we were able to do it, Peter Martin was Diane Reeves' music director for almost 30 years. Like, the reason why we're able to do that is because there's a freedom in this city too that comes along with having access to all of the things. I can go listen to the
okay.
symphony. I can
Yeah.
go listen to a blues band. I can go hear the Mighty Pines. I can hear hip hop. I can go to church and hear gospel. Like, when that is your experience.
Looking for a yoga studio that actually meets you where you are? Check out Brick City Yoga, a community-focused studio in Benton Park West built for every experience level. Whether you're brand new or deep in your practice, they offer everything from restorative and yin to vinyasa flow, all in an inclusive, welcoming space. With accessible pricing and a come as you are mindset, it's yoga without barriers. Drop in, grab a class pack, or become a member and start your practice today at Brick City Yoga.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
That
And those things are not in contradiction to one another.
no, they're not. I just feel like that version of what you just said, which is the most beautiful thing ever, and that's the way my life has been lately. But that's not the way. I don't think a lot of people's circles are that big, and mine certainly wasn't. Like the last. I just mean that. I just think s- so much of us as St. Louisans, and here we go, because we're gonna talk about when we're trying to talk about music on this podcast, it's just gonna reflect the whole the whole situation
Right,
that
right,
we
right.
live in, right? But yeah, what do you I just see a lot of I don't see people really feeling that way or living that way all the time. Like I can go do this, I can go do that. There's either the attitude of I don't know, they only see one sort of avenue musically or artistically, and then they feel stuck, or they just don't I don't know where I'm going with this, but they just don't that whole spectrum doesn't seem that available to people, and it doesn't seem like that's on their brains. So, I don't know, one thing that I'm passionate about is, like, is trying to open that spectrum up for other
Exactly.
people, and I think that's why I get so excited being around you, because you feel like engaged and able to engage with these different scenes, if you will, like, and I just find that very rich. And I guess this is just my moment to just wish that for musicians here,
Well,
because it
you have a
feels like there's two,
podcast.
and that's what.
You don't have to wish it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That's what the passion is in me that is driving this. But okay, here's a question for you, because I've noticed this and I didn't notice it before, but I notice it now. Wow, like, are there there's black and white in St. Louis, and are there two are there's obviously are there two worlds that are kind of existing together, and like, are there two music scenes? Like, it just feels like sometimes, especially when you talk about the church, like, that's so new to my consciousness. And I know that sounds like crazy, because when you grew up in the church or with that music in your life, like, duh, it's built, and so, but there are so many people, at least 50% of, like, all the people taking in music in St. Louis or listening to music in St. Louis or making music, that have no idea what that's about. And I don't know, I just kind of want to I'm just fascinated with, we come from different worlds, and what do you think about do we have one scene in St. Louis, or is it really like two different worlds?
I don't
Does
even
that make sense? I'm just I'm just I'm kind of trying to grapple with that and make sense of that in my own life.
I can't speak to that, I don't think,
Okay.
with any, like, real, where I would say, absolutely
Yeah.
positively. I think that obviously I mean, I think there were times
Yeah.
when you had a certain level of segregation, but, like, historically, I think when you look at like, musicians, like, stories that I hear
Mhm.
from musicians like Tim Albert, who's at who runs, all the tech and
Yep.
the stuff and
Yep.
the production stuff at the Sheldon, would always tell me about stories about Oliver Sane was his mentor.
Wow.
You see what I'm
See,
saying?
but
Like,
that, yeah, and I know Tim, and I'm just like, I didn't
you know what I'm saying?
expect
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, I think that, again, this is the beautiful contradiction.
And the tension, I love
Yeah,
that
and the
word earlier,
tension.
that
The
tension.
contradiction is how do you live in a city that is obviously still struggles with overt and covert
Yeah.
racial tension, classism, what high school did you go to? Like they struggles with all these isms, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time can produce culture within it where, Michael McDonald, when he was 17 years old, is backing up Chuck Berry at the
Mhm.
Castaway Club in Ferguson, or Tim Albert is being mentored by Oliver Sane, or Brian Owens when he's, 35, 34, 35, meets and again gets mentored in a way by Michael McDonald, who allows him to go on the road with him.
And
Right?
Brian
Yeah.
Owens mentors
Yeah.
Neil
Right, right,
Salsich.
right.
No,
See.
serious.
So it's like, I think what we say is that, look, revolution, renaissance, and revival, those three things,
Mhm.
very rarely do those things start with the masses. They never do, because it's not required. You don't need a bunch of people to make a lot of noise. What you need is committed people. So if we have people who are committed to podcasts, I people who I don't people who have to leave the city to go do what they do. I mean, I'm like, do what you need to do. As long as you're
Mhm.
going
Yeah.
to something and not
Yeah.
running from something, I'm like, go for it. There's also a contingency of us who are still in the city, people who are coming back, like Keon has held
Mhm.
residencies here, Keon Harrell, like, who held residencies here, like, who are who are like looking at this as an opportunity to actually be bridges that are built not only from the past to the present, but build bridges from the present to the
Yeah.
future, so that people who are growing up in this city can have an institutionalized knowledge about what came before them,
Mhm.
but have a freedom to take it in a direction that may make more sense for where they're going in the future and where music may be going. So I got like Paco and Melina
Mhm.
and Sanka and all these who are involved in
They're
all these
doing
different
so many
things.
exciting.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like my son now is doing music, right? they fundamentally do something that's different than me. I don't need them to do what I do. I need to take what I've learned in my
Mhm.
platform and now support, be a
Mhm.
bridge for them to get over to whatever their other side is holistically, not
Yeah.
just as artists, but as people and individuals who have a
Mhm.
sense of responsibility and a transcendent purpose that's on their life to do something more than just make money. Like that's
Yeah.
to
No,
me,
that's
that's the
beautiful.
opportunity that exists.
So is that your identity now or your like, is that's where you're at right now is the bridge. You've used that term a couple times.
To the city, I'm a bridge. To the world, I want to be a megaphone.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
kinda like, no, am I done being an artist? Absolutely not.
No, and that's not even what I was
Yeah, 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 yeah,
implying
yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm because we haven't talked in a while,
Is
which
it
I love this, by the way. And that's another thing I was laughing about as I'm preparing for this, and I'm kind of thinking about what we're going to talk about. And I love this about musicians is that we don't have to. We're not in touch a lot. You know what I mean?
No,
But
but when we sit down,
yeah, when we're together, and this
yeah.
is the same way I am with a lot of different musicians, and I know you know this feeling. And isn't that kinda cool and special? I don't know, it's almost like, is that just for musicians or that's probably for, like, if, you're pro athletes, it's probably the same way. Like, we speak each other's
It's
language.
fraternal.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fraternal.
And there's a certain vulnerability to, like, right now what we're doing, but inherent to being on stage that I think just sort of connects us with that sort of bond where we
Yeah.
don't I don't remember the last time I saw you or we don't text or talk regularly, but yeah, when we're in the same room creating something or performing something together, we're talking because a lot of the seeds of this conversation have just been the green room conversations that we've
Yeah,
had,
right, right, right.
before the show, just when there's no cameras on, we're just talking about life
It's
and
a shared
music.
but we have a shared language.
Yeah.
Like, we understand it's like going
Mhm.
to another country, and you may look different than other people, but if you can speak the language,
Yeah.
you immediately have a connection. And I think that's what happens in the creative and artistic and the music world
I
is
love
that
that.
is
I
that
think
is that we
that's one of the
speak.
coolest things about it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
we
just
speak the same
Yeah.
language. And I think that the ability of St. Louis artists, creatives, and musicians to speak that language is at a high level. And I think
Mm.
it's right because now you can leave here and you go someplace else, and now you can pick up other people's languages. That's the
Yeah.
ru- that's the roux. That's the roux.
Absolutely.
You can put roux in anybody's gumbo. You like you can have different gumbo recipes
Yeah. Yeah.
and have the
That's right.
same and have the same roux
Variations.
and have and
Exactly.
have and have and have
That
the,
is
and have
so
this and have the same
Yeah.
roux. And I think that that's what I want to do is like help build the bridge. So it's like go be roux,
All right. I'm getting my shirt made.
go be roux,
Yeah.
go be
People
roux.
people are gonna say, "What is that?" I say, "You have to
St.
listen
Louis
to the
roux, man.
podcast."
St. Louis roux.
Wow. I mean, so when I travel, and I was actually had the blessing to be traveling through Europe a couple months ago, but even if I travel around the states, you know what the funny thing is, and I know you know this experience too. You tell them you're from St. Louis, the first thing they talk about is the music. Everyone has a reference and a lot of times it's the same. I hate to use the word cliche, but it might be the same archetypal thing like Chuck Berry or Miles Davis, which by the way, those are giants for a reason, And I mean Chuck
Yeah.
Berry especially sometimes
Yeah.
I think we just take things for granted as St. Louisans, but actually as music fans
He
because
created pop.
I know. And the more I study, when you go back and you study and you learn, you start to have an understanding and appreciation. And sometimes the the profundity of what of the music that he made, not put into words. It's still the most exciting electric stuff when I hear it. And I mean, let's do an 8-part podcast series on just that because
I
it's
mean,
freaking
we
nuts.
should look, have all your other guests. I
Yeah.
want you to have all your other
And you're the
guests.
first one. You'll always
I'll
be
be
the
the first
first one.
one. But if you ever want to do a breakdown, it's like, okay, this whole episode is about Chuck Berry. This whole episode is about Michael McDonald. This whole episode is
Yeah,
about
okay.
Scott Joplin.
Oh my
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes,
That's
there's
another cat, like
Woo!
Royce Martin.
Yes.
Okay, like that's what we are in St. Louis. This dude taught
It's
watch
amazing.
Ragtime on
Yeah.
YouTube,
It's
taught himself to play, and now graduated from Berkeley, and he's doing scoring for like Bel Air and like
yeah.
all this stuff. It's like
And me and him are in the same club the other night at Evangeline's watching the same jazz band. And there's about 3 other people there. You know what I mean? But I saw him and I knew who he was. And you know, by the way, he's going to be on this podcast. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be on it. And so many of the people that you mentioned that I've learned about from you, which is so cool. You are a wealth of information, and it's exciting to talk with you.
It's because I'm getting old, man.
Well,
I've been here forever, man. That's what it is.
I don't see you as okay, then that means I'm getting old because I don't see you as that old. But man, this has been amazing. I feel like we could keep going and going. And first episode, we got to keep it tight, you know, keep it loose, keep it tight. So I think there'll have to be a part 2.
I'm totally down for a part 2.
Brian Owens returns at some point, by the way, because we just got going here. Honestly, we just got going. I could feel it. But the last thing, let's leave our listeners with this. I'm genuinely curious. What is cooking in the kitchen with Brian Owens right now? What do you have going on?
A lot of roux.
Okay. Well, and give me a little preview.
So
give me a taste.
So what people can look forward to this year is we have this series called Sunday Soul. We launched it in Christmas with some videos.
And they look unbelievable.
Thank you.
And sound unbelievable.
Yeah. Shout out to Open Studio. And
who does the wardrobe?
Yeah.
Oh, because
Safa Sankofa Studios.
Okay.
If you need somebody to do your creative direction,
I'm gonna
Safa Kaplinger.
I'm gonna send them a
Sankofa.
Request.
She kills it.
Whoa.
So I'm really focusing on that, and you know, a lot of the creative mentoring that we've been doing over the past 7 to 10 years is really starting to find its home. We're teaching a course in the business school at Maryville University. Still have the residency.
You are doing a million things.
Still have the residency with World Chess Hall of Fame. So this year is about really starting to consolidate everything so that people can see the ecosystem that's been built over the last 10 to 12 years.
Yes.
And the people in the ecosystem and what they're doing. Like we were talking about Natalia Parr, who works with SEO Bucket List. Like she's one of our creative kids. Sanka Nguyen, who's getting ready to start killing the game in K-pop.
She already is, and I'm going, hey, I want to write a song with you.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget about me.
Yeah. Melina Smith.
Oh my gosh.
Joshua Paco Lee, who he has a pilot coming out called Pray for Pac and doing stuff. Wow. Anthony Jones with Kid Electric and even Royce. Royce is one of my so like
Royce is doing something.
Royce is killing it, man.
I see what he's doing. He almost seems like he's actually creating something new, right? Which is actually not that common
with the ragtime hip hop.
No, it's like I don't know if that might be it. That's really special.
Yeah,
and I'm excited. I just
so he's just
him. Wow.
so we just have all of these people. When people say, you know, how does the future look and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, man, there's a group of creatives who are experiencing a freedom that is going to allow them to become a bridge for somebody else. And if I'm not doing anything else, what I'm doing this year is making sure that whatever platform I'm building does 2 things: honors God and becomes a bridge for other people. And if it does that, I'm totally good. But I can tell you,
wow,
you want to be looking at Brian Owens Soul on the IG and the YouTube and all this stuff, because it's a lot of good, powerful, transformational, cool stuff coming up.
Cool. I feel hopeful hearing all that as a St. Louis, as a musician. So
you a part of it, man.
Well, it is a privilege to be a part of it. And once again, you have shown me more than you even realize over the last couple of years. And it's been exciting and super gratifying and super illuminating to just a guest in your musical home for all these years. So thank you for being a guest in this podcast space. This was amazing. Thank you, Brian. Hopefully we get on stage soon.
Well, together. Yeah, we'll work that out.
Yeah. So actually, are we going to do a song?
You want to?
Yeah. I forgot. I was having such a good time.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. We're going to perform a song. Looking to step up your coffee game? Check out Kuva Coffee, a St. Louis proud owner-operated roaster that's been doing it right since 2003. They roast in small batches, so every cup is fresh, high quality, and honestly, you can taste the difference. You've probably seen them at the Tower Grove Farmers Market, where they've been a staple for 20 seasons. The best part? You can order online and have incredible coffee shipped straight to your front door. Head to kuvacoffee.com and upgrade your mornings with Kuva Coffee.
This is my jam, bro.
I was born on Nantucket. I'm a scallop man's son. I grew up pulling shellfish beneath the Atlantic sun. But a taste for adventure and the start of a dream brought me to Boston when I was just 17. So I married a lady and I took her down south to find work on the railroads in the Great Smoky Mountains. But I've missed the seashore and the change of the tide. And each night I'd see an ocean of stars in the sky. And I sing all these mountains from morning till noon and dance by the light of the moon. I sing all these mountains till my song gets the sea, carries with it all of my memories. We littered the landscapes and we cut down the trees, blew holes through the mountain, oh yeah, brought the earth to her knees. These days I feel sorrow, oh, I feel sorrow about the work that I've done. And I sure miss the water. I'm a scallop man's son. And I sing on these mountains from morning till noon and dance by the light of the moon. Sing on these mountains till my song hits the sea and it carries with it all of my memories. Carries with it all of my memories. Bridge real quick. Now I've got 3 children and a wife in her grave. Our youngest one bled her till she could not be saved. Still the salt's in my skin, ooh, and it's in my blood too. It falls in these tears that I cry for you. Tears that I cry for my cold Atlantic blue. And I sing all these mountains from morning to noon and dance by the light of the moon. Sing all these mountains till my song hits the sea, carries with it all of my memories. Carries with it all of my memories. Carries with it all of my memories. All right.
I love that song.
All right.